Hi, cooperators. 2022 greetings, guys. It's good to say something to you again. It has been quite a long time since we last had our meeting. My apologies for that. It has been really hectic at the office. It has not been easy, but I'm glad that at least one can find time to give you an update as to what we have been doing, where we are now, and where we're going. This is just an update, guys. It's not a report. As you know, that our tradition in Promedical Primary Cooperative, when we table reports before the cooperative, reports are always tabled in a formal meeting, which is shared, of course, by the chairperson in the presence of the secretary and or the treasurer, and preferably all the members of the cooperative. When not possible, of course, the house needs to correct all the time. And we know that part and parcel of the report will always be the financials, a business report, and then also an update on membership status and other things that might have cropped up at that time. That's the tradition of Promedical Primary Cooperative, and I wish it can continue like that. This is just an update, like I've just said. Perhaps before I give you an update, maybe let me take you back a little bit. I'm not going to be detailed because I take it that most of us, most of you guys, including myself, we have gone through the videos a number of times that were posted. Those videos, they are there. You'll find them in our website, Promedical Primary Cooperative website. They're also available on YouTube. Those are the videos that deal with the details, why we had to form the cooperative and why we have the ambitions that we have. Why do we have the vision that we have? So those videos will assist you in that. Bit of a background, you would remember that when we started a couple of years ago, imagine, I think around 2018, 2019, when we started putting our heads together and making some contributions to the Promedical Primary Cooperative project. We had a shopping list. We said we wanted to have a cooperative bank. We wanted to own our own hospitals, have our own rehabilitation centers or step downs. We wanted to have our own medical centers. We wanted to have our own private fund that can be sold to the employer. We wanted to have day hospitals. So we had this beautiful shopping list that, of course, looks too long and too ambitious. Guess what? It's nothing. It's good to think big. So that's what we had. The next question was to how do we then fund this? And then we said, well, look, we need to look at ourselves in terms of funding. We need to fund this from our pocket in the first place. Like any other businessman or any other person who wants to start a business, you first have to have the money. And most of the time, that money needs to come from you, not from someone else. And also we had this idea that we need to get out of this thing of expecting other nations or other people to feed, clothe us. We said we wanted to feed and clothe ourselves. And that is why we said we need to look at us funding our projects. Of course, after realizing that it was a little bit steep, because when you talk about projects such as these, where you're talking about the cooperative bank, funding, setting up a cooperative bank, setting up hospitals. They sent us all this health infrastructure. It's very expensive. And then we decided that we need to look at some institutions, some financing institutions. And in our case, we looked at TBS and PIC. Perhaps let me just touch a little bit on the self-funding. It's not that we have abandoned self-funding approach. We still believe in it. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there. But up to now, up to so far, I must be honest with you guys. I'm very, very impressed with you guys. I must really commend you for having, heeded the call that said, listen, let us put our limited financial resources together. Let's get Promedical up and running and see how far we can go with Promedical and its projects. I must really thank you. Without you, wouldn't be where we are today. Promedical exists, but not only does it exist, Promedical is a force to reckon with in the healthcare space. I will tell you more about what we have done, but I just wanted to take a moment just to thank you for believing in me, who have come up with the idea of forming this cooperative, and believing in yourselves that you have made the correct decisions in being part of this. I promise you, you'll never regret. Of course, it's not easy. It's not a quick money-making scheme. A lot of sacrifices go with this. I personally had to cut down my practice by 2/3. Very few people can do that just to build a structure like this. I'm not saying there's no one who can do it, but few people can do this. But also, from your side, I must really commend you to say very few people can commit their limited, scarce financial resources to a project of this nature. Put your money to a cooperative that does not have anything to show. You started with the cooperative when there was nothing. We didn't have a dime in the bank account, except for the few thousands that I had put in just to get started. But otherwise, there was nothing, guys. And you guys took it upon you to make sure that this dream is realized. Okay, thank you very much. In terms of where we are in terms of self-funding, guys, up to so far, I wouldn't complain. Of course, we didn't get to a point where we wanted to get, but I think we did well given the situation. I wish we could have done more. I wish we could have contributed more, but I still believe that we are going to contribute more. I see almost on daily basis our colleagues, healthcare professionals, they are calling the office to find out how to join and so on. It's okay, but right now, that is not the area of focus. From your little funds that you committed to the cooperative, we have enough. In fact, we had enough to get going without waiting for a large number of people joining us. It's not easy. Some people do not like joining startups. Startups are very high risk. There's quite a lot of chances that the startups die in a very short space of time. Most of the startups, they don't even go beyond 1 year. That's why, and it's understandable why other people tend to stay away from startups. People want to see things that are already in existence. They want to hear about a success story. They don't want to come into things that are just starting. That is why when you look around and you see all the big companies, of course, most of the time it would be white companies, white banks, and you see them being supported so much by our own people. Even us as professionals, we trust this institution so much. Your standard banks, your ABSA, and so on. And sometimes we bank with them without even looking at the history. I mean, if you take ABSA, that's an amalgamated banks of South Africa. I mean, all the funds from the Vergramtes, all those guys who came from the Postmans, the John Fosters, the Fairfoods, and their children. Those are the guys who started those banks, and they amalgamated. And I can tell you, most of us as Black people, we bank with these people without even questioning or trying to understand their history. But it's understandable they exist, and then they're doing well, and they are trustworthy, because if you take your money, you put it there, you're almost always certain that your money is safe. Okay, so in terms of the self-funding, we are continuing with it, but we felt that from the office that we have reached a point where we can do a lot with the little bit that we have from you. And therefore, we decided to sort of go slow on membership recruitment and focus on growing the money that we have now in the cooperative, and also looking at sourcing huge sums of money from various financial sources. Just to give you an idea, you would remember that we had many talks that actually spent over 2 years with the DBSA. Just to summarize, at the end, DBSA approved 5.7 billion, but there was a catch. There was a condition that we need to find a property company. Otherwise, they wouldn't put down the money. They can pre-approve and say, well, guys, listen, we can give you the money because we like you. You have brilliant ideas. You are a team of people who have got the skills, who have got the knowledge. You are healthcare professionals. There's a need for health in this country, big shortage of the hospital beds and so forth. But at the end, it's about the money. It's about the investments. It's about the people who have invested their monies in DBSA, and it's about the returns on the investment. So it's not about the beautiful things that we say. So they had to come up with this condition. One of these conditions, of course, we had to put in a little bit from ourselves, and it was not a small amount of money, but of course, it was not going to be impossible for us to put it as our own contribution. But the one other condition they came up with was that we needed to find a property partner, and the property partner needs to be a company that has got a track record in building hospitals. And then that got us running, like headless chickens, looking for a property partner. Fortunately, we had some names, and one of the companies that we approached was Safari Group. And at that time, we were already in talks with Safari Group. As you remember, that Safari Group is a listed entity at the stock market, and also they build malls, shopping centers, and they also have about 1% of the hospital portfolio. So now they have, you remember that I told you that the Safari Group is the group that has about 3-day hospitals that they wanted us to take over and run, and on rental basis. One hospital is at the Nkomo village in Atteridgeville, the other one is Bukeng Mall, and the other one is at the Proti Glen, just next to Proti Mall. So with Safari Group, they wanted us to rent this, and the rent was very cheap, but we I just felt that we were going to make some good cash out of the deal. However, I insisted that those day hospitals, for us to operate them, they need to have casualties, all of them, because in my view and my own experience is that when day hospitals do not have a casualty that runs 24 hours, they tend to rely on referrals, and mainly from the GPs, and that is not good. That's why generally these day hospitals, they don't do well unless maybe the surgeons are so established that they get so busy that they tend to push the day cases to the day hospital. But generally, in my own experience, day hospitals don't do very well. I'm talking about theaters because that's where the money is. The money is in theater. I mean, if you are not running theaters, you may as well open a GP practice, a big GP practice, and don't call it a hospital. But if for you to say it's a day hospital, there must be theaters that are running there. Okay, so now the issue with DBSA was that you needed to get the property partner. We spoke to Safari Group, they agreed. And but then when they were supposed to sign the document, saying they are part of this and they will be the property partner. They signed it, sent it to me, but then they said for them to be part of this, we needed to meet a certain organization called Brentwood Capital. We had a meeting with this organization, and then these guys, they are the ones who are actually in charge of the financial side of things at Safari. And these are the guys, who put together a lot of these complicated deals, and to cut a long story short, they have got a lot of funds, apparently, from what they told me, a lot of funds coming from all over the world that needs to be invested. Well, I understand that, these guys, they have got in their organization, they have CFAs, they have got auditors, they've got accountants, attorneys, they've got, all these people that are needed whenever these big deals are packaged. So the money that they control comes from various high net worth individuals. They are in the world, there are big families who have got a lot of money, or individuals who have got lots of money, venture capitalists. We have got hedge funds. We have got a lot of people who have got money, and these people who have got a lot of money, they don't put their money in the bank or with Sanlam or these insurance companies to invest, and so they don't do that. What they do, they look for projects, high return, high financial return projects, and then they put their money there. So this Brentwood Capital wanted to bring such people to actually fund our projects. But there was a catch also with them, which I felt that it was beyond reach for us. They wanted us to restructure, meaning we needed to have a proper corporate structure. And then by that, it means they looked at our cooperative, the way we were structured as a cooperative, and they felt that it's not a structure that can attract huge sums of money from these high net worth people, so they wanted us to change into a holding company, whilst we still keep our cooperative as a pool of investors, but convert into a holding company and then start having subsidiaries. I'm going to deal with that at a later stage in details, but I'm just giving you a picture as to what they wanted us to do. And then, well, there's nothing wrong in what they were saying. I know that, I understand that, especially having been exposed to Johannesburg Stock Exchange as a broker back then. And so I understand exactly what they wanted us to do. But the problem was that they wanted us to pay 350,000 to do all that. Yes, I understand the costs of CFAs, the guys, those are chartered financial analysts who are going to prepare our prospectors who are going to come up with financial models, projections, and all those. I understand that. And I understand also the legal side. They were going to come and draft the documents, your memorandum of association, incorporation, and your articles of association, and all those things. I understand all those things, and the business plans and so forth. But my biggest problem was that 350,000 was just too much. And also looking at us, at our group, then I noticed that we have quite a lot of professionals who are at that level, who are sophisticated enough to be able to package ourselves the way that they wanted. Then in that case, I felt that, well, look, guys, it's good to have met you. Perhaps give us a chance, and then we'll come back to you the day we are ready with the proper corporate structure that when you look at, and you would smile. And then in terms of categories, and then I put them on the medium to long term. So basically, talking to Safari Group, obviously, because I realized that Safari Group didn't want to move any further with us if we didn't want to do business with Brentwood Capital. So I saw them that they were sort of stepping aside and say, okay, fine, if you don't want to listen or do what Brentwood Capital is saying, and then we're not going to do business with you now until you have done what Brentwood Capital. So which I found it a little bit unacceptable on my side, but I said it's fine. So then we left them like that, but I told them that, well, the day we're ready, we'll come back to them, and then we can revisit the talks also about those day hospitals. The reason why they didn't want to move to go forward without Brentwood Capital, they thought, and they asked me to send a balance sheet and income statement of Promedical. And indeed, our income statement and our balance sheet doesn't have muscle, you know, and it's thin, and it's understandable. I mean, we're not an old organization, and we didn't put millions and millions of money in starting up a Promedical. We went very, very small. So then we parked Safari Group. So meaning that we could not go back to DBSA because we have not met that condition. Maybe you'll ask me a question, were there no other companies that possibly we could look at? Yes, there are. And one of them, for instance, is a company owned by a guy called Mike Nkuna. Some of you know him. If you want, you can Google Masingita or Mike Nkuna, and then you can read about him and his companies. He's a guy who built Jabulani Mall, I'm told, and also built Proti Mall. So he has got other properties that he has built in the country. It's quite a big guy. I think he also built a blockchain in Soweto. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but anyway, that's Mike Nkuna. It's one of the people that we're looking at. But like I've given you an idea. We decided in the office that, look, let us start putting certain deals in 3 categories. Let us take certain deals and put them under short term, meaning let us have deals that are executable immediately or very soon. And then let us put others on medium to long term, and or medium term, and others let's put them under the long term category. The reason why we did that strategically, if you have things that can be executed now, start generating revenue now, and then you are able to use whatever money that you have generated to build your balance sheet and income statement to be better able to execute on the medium-term category projects. So we took that strategy and it seems to be working. In fact, it's not that we have not been having that in mind all along, but the idea was to speak to as many people as possible, have as many projects on the table as possible, and from there, classify them in terms of categories and then execute. The other organization that we spoke to was PIC. Guys, I'm sure at least you understand. I don't know if there's anything that I've left on TVSA, but in summary, we've parked TVSA and Safari Group. We've parked them for now. And then we'll look at them again when we are dealing with the medium to long term. Okay. PIC, we spoke to them. They, after a lot of talks, dealing, and then finally they told us that, look, we need to speak to a certain organization called the RH Pupilo. These are the guys who received money from PIC. They are in the hospital industry space. They basically build and buy hospitals. I think they bought quite a number of hospitals from Netcare, and then they build some couple of hospitals. They have got their own business model that they use. I'm told that when they build the hospital, they build the hospital, and then they also take part in the operationals and management as well, meaning that they also take equity on the operationals. So they own the property, they own also part of the operationals with whoever has the license and the land. So, you know, it's one model that they are using. Other people, like for instance, I've spoken with a lady from Masingita, and she told me that, well, look, they are very flexible, but their business model is straightforward. They buy and then you rent. So if you have got a license, and then they build the hospital, you bring your license, they build the hospital, and then you then pay them the rent, occupational rent, you know. So there are various models that people use in this space. But this is not for this video is not for that. We can discuss those things at any other at a later stage. Maybe you can call me or send me a WhatsApp, email, whatever, and then we can share ideas on that one. Okay. So yeah, and then we didn't go to RH Pupilo. We felt that perhaps we can put them on medium to long term. There were reasons why we didn't go there. I'm not going to mention those reasons now. Probably they can be a little bit, they can leave a bad taste on the mouth. But Intercare, you'll remember that we spoke to Intercare. These are the guys who own day hospitals and their step-down facilities and rehabs. And but we left our talks because those guys, they didn't have a good appetite for road accident fund patients. And you guys, you would know that road accident fund is our bread and butter. We make a living out of road accident fund, most of us, because we do trauma, we do polytrauma. So basically, we just sit with RAF because RAF pays and pays well. Some people don't like RAF because it's too much document orientated, but RAF is good. So Intercare didn't like RAF. Then we said, okay, fine, let's park them. They like medical aids. We don't like medical aids that much. Then we were talking, you remember we were talking to Advanced Care. The idea of, okay, by the way, Intercare, the idea with Intercare was to partner and also take shares in Intercare. They were prepared to give us shares. Of course, we're going to pay for our shares. I'm sure you know, guys, that Intercare, big part of it was bought by Medicross. So they wanted to accommodate us as well, especially because we have got, hands, a lot of our members, actually almost all, are healthcare professionals, and we've got skills, knowledge. They wanted us for that, and they also have patients. But well, unfortunately, they didn't like one of our clients, which is Ralph, so we left them. But I'm sure at a later stage, we'll come back and talk to them. Advanced Care. Advanced Care is interesting. We spoke I told you about advanced care. There are 2 hospitals that we were looking at to take over. In fact, the other one is in Promedical. That's the one that is owned. Actually, they've got a very interesting arrangement with Safari. Safari built that hospital, and Advanced Care is an operational company. So they go in and operate the hospital. And the Safari Group built it, the one that is in Promedical. And Advanced Care is composed of some doctors, and there's some admin people, you know, some business people who are there, but mainly there are a lot of doctors there in Advanced Care. So they operate hospitals, but the hospitals are built by Safari Group. So then the one in Promedical, we found it already, it was closed. And then Advanced Care was basically exiting. And then they had equipment that they were selling for 7.5 million, the entire equipment in the hospital. And the hospital itself, the building belonging to Safari Group wanted us to rent it. And then that's the one I said, if they want us to pay rent, they must put casualty. And then, so it also fell in the cracks, I mean, because of the disagreement that we had with Safari Group. So then we left it. But anyway, they were also prepared to sell that entity, because even now it's still closed. They wanted 30 million for it. And then we didn't go for that deal. We didn't even buy the equipment, because there was no point buying equipment for what? If Safari Group, our talks with Safari Group are already stalling because of the disagreement we had. And was this Advanced Care, when I asked them about the equipment, I realized also that they were still owing about 4 million, owing up about 4 million. And then the breakdown of it was that we needed to put down 7.5 million, and 1.5 out of that was for the license, hospital license, which is crazy, because hospital license, you pay almost nothing to get a license. So I said no. So guys, we left the Advanced Care at Protein. Then there was Advanced Care Eastern Mall. That one, the deal was okay. These guys at the end, they wanted us to take shares, I think 15% shares for 800,000. But the problem I had with them was that one, we had doctors there who were major shareholders. And these doctors there at Eastern Mall, it's just at the back of Eastern Mall, that hospital, it's a day hospital. And these doctors were actually admitting patients at Sunward Park Hospital, but they are shareholders of this entity at Eastern Mall. You know, they call it Advanced Care Eastern Mall. So I found it strange that these guys are doing that. And now we were gonna come in, basically improve the cash flow and the revenue, and then, you know, of course, at the end, you know, improve the dividends of the shareholders. And but these guys are not there admitting there. So the one thing that we wanted them to be out, we buy them out, and then the other people refused. They said no, it's not fair to them to be bought out, because they started with them when they had nothing. So now how can we kick them out when actually when new people come in? So they felt that they had history. They said, okay, fine, then it doesn't work for us. And also the other reason why it didn't work for us was that they wanted us to pay 800,000 and at the same time bring patients. I mean, the hospital itself was already on its knees in terms of cash flow. It was not doing well. So we were gonna come in, you know, and resuscitate it and then get it profitable, and then and still pay for our shares. So we found that a bit strange to say, why should we pay when we are actually coming up with all the resuscitation apparatus that are needed, you know? So we felt that no, it was not okay. Okay. So, and then we left. Of course, you know, sometimes it's not nice to leave deals like that. But again, we didn't leave forever. We said, well, guys, for now, we're gonna pack you. We'll put you on medium to long term. We'll talk when we have made up our mind and you guys have made up your mind. And from what I saw, I don't think those guys, they still gonna continue breathing for the next few years, probably because I saw they were already about to start gasping. So probably, yeah, one would say some couple of months we'll hear that they have closed down. So yeah, those are the people that will visit when the market has showed them some fire. Okay, so now we then decided that look, we need a way forward. We have spoken to many people. We've got a lot of things on the table, but we needed now to look at the things that we could execute immediately. And one of the things that I observed was that if we do not restructure quickly, we are not going to be able to attract huge sums of money that are needed to fund our project. Self-funding can take us forever. We need to source money, and we've already identified sources of money. But the sources of money, they need us to package ourselves very, very well, dress up nicely, you know, put nice fragrances, makeup if you can, and so forth. Okay. So, but for us to structure properly and attract money from the members that we have and also other members, I think it is important that to motivate people to see that, look, this cooperative is alive and it can deliver on its promises. So it's important that we start working towards a declaration of dividends. Promedical has started trading a couple of months ago. It is, of course, our expenses are still on the higher side because, of course, of exploration, on compliance, and a lot of other things. There's quite a lot of money moving around. But I believe that we will be in a position. I wouldn't like to promise in 6 months' time, but I have a feeling that we can, in 6 months' time, declare dividends. We can declare a portion, you know, and perhaps the second declaration of dividends probably on the second term or second half of the year. I do have that. I'm positive, but we will update you guys. But that's the commitment that we make, that the dividends need to be declared, because we believe that dividends are going to motivate members and shareholders of the cooperative to put money when we call for more money, because we are going to call for more money very soon. But we are not only looking at the members of the cooperative, like I've said. We are also looking at sourcing money from other sources, such as your private equity funds, your venture capitalists, your hedge funds, and so forth. So with that being said, that brings me to a talk about the proposed corporate structure. Guys, Promedical is, and there will always be, a pool of investors. This is a pool of members who are shareholders and they are investors. It is you guys who made Promedical exist. And then it is you gonna make Promedical succeed. And Promedical will, in return, give you more than what you have put in. So that's what all of us were fighting for. And it's already happening. It's going to keep happening. The only thing now, we're going to grow. There's no way we can go back. There's no way we can go back to zero. It's just growth only that we're looking at. Our vision, our dream is about to be realized, because we're not far now with the process of registration is already up and running. We're just moving documents back and forth with the corporate bank development agency. Those guys, they are helping us. We had 2 meetings already. We have pushed documents to them. They've pushed documents back to us. So we're doing well. We think before June, we'll be having our bank license. I don't think that is going to take more time. The cooperative will build the bank, and the bank will build the cooperative. So the cooperative members, from time to time, we see a situation where we put the money, not all of it, because of course, you know, when a bank starts, nobody has got a lot of trust on the bank that is just a startup, like I've said before. But we believe that we will encourage people to save with the bank, and the bank in return will borrow money to the cooperative members as and when the cooperative members need money, of course at an interest, and the cooperative bank also can borrow money to other people who are not members. But of course, everything is risk rated. Okay. Now, guys, when it comes to the cooperative bank, there is no way that the cooperative bank can sit anywhere. The cooperative bank will always be linked to the cooperative. We cannot have it as a private company. It's not allowed. The law does not allow that. So it will always be linked to the cooperative. Okay, and sorry. Okay, let's look at this one. I just want to. Okay. Sorry about that. I just want to do something here. Okay, great. Now, the thinking, guys, on this proposed corporate structure is that the Promedical will remain the pool, and then we are going to register a holding company. We sometimes call that a special purpose entity, okay, or a special purpose vehicle, SPV. And then the holding company is the one that is going to hold the shares. The shares of Promedical members, shareholders, will then be sitting here, proportional to what each and every member has put in on Promedical. So you register the shares on the holding company. What it means is that the holding company does not trade. What is trading is the subsidiaries. Okay. These are the subsidiaries of the holding company. The reason why we're doing this, guys, okay, let me just put all the subsidiaries. I'm going to explain them one by one because I'm about to finish now. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm about to finish, guys. Okay. Just be patient with me. Okay. I know we're very patient people. Okay. Great stuff. Now, guys, let me take my pen. There are 3 sources of funds. Of course, the first one is this one, is that we have already put in our money. We'll continue putting our money. Okay. And then the second one, depending which comes first, can be the cooperative bank. Okay. That will also be a source of funding for us. And then the other one will be what you call, some people, they call it venture capitalists. You can have venture capitalists. You can have hedge funds, hedge funds. Okay, all right. Don't ask me how these things work for now. There's no need for now, but once we're sitting, we'll talk. I've worked with these things for a very long time, so I understand what is happening here. We call this outside investors. These are the people who can put their money on the holding company. They'll never put their money on the structure here, never. And the reason why they will never do is because a cooperative is not structured in a traditional way that they are used to. It is structured more like a stokvel to them. So they don't like that, where you have a treasurer, secretary, and the chairman, controlling a big organization like this. And no, they don't want that. They are used to structures like this with a holding company, and then a holding company, and then with various subsidiaries, various subsidiaries. Okay, so that is the reason we'll have to restructure, and that is why that gentleman from Brentwood Capital, he wanted us to restructure. He wanted to come up with structures like this. These structures are complex because the legal documents that are drafted here, they are very complex documents. But we have the people who have got the expertise in our group. We have got attorneys that I have already spoken to in our group. We have got accountants, we have got CFAs in our group. So I don't think it will be a big challenge. And if maybe we have a challenge, we'll always consult. But we're not gonna hand over money in bags to outsiders to do something that we can do ourselves. We'd rather pay that money to our members who can do this than to give it to the outsiders. Okay, so basically, this is how the structure is going to look like, what is called the proposed corporate structure. So we have got the holding companies here, sitting here, okay, which is a special. Now, what is interesting of note is that the holding company, guys, it does not trade, okay? Does not trade, okay? Does not trade, okay? All right, does not trade, okay? The holding company, okay? I don't know how to write this. It's a mouse. Sorry. Okay, but you understand me, okay? Okay, it does not, okay? All right, it does not trade. And then all it does is just holding the shares, right? The shares are sitting here. And then now who is sitting here, to oversee things? The treasurer, treasurer, and then the secretary, and the chairperson from the cooperative, and the directors, right? And the directors, okay? The directors from the cooperative. Directors from the cooperative, treasurer, secretary, chairman, they sit here. They sit here. The reason why they are sitting here is to make sure that there's proper corporate governance. They form a proper corporate governance. Then the directors who are here, these directors who are here, all these directors, okay? And then the directors from here, okay? Okay, directors, no? Yeah, must be R there, okay? The directors, okay. These directors, they also come and sit here because they need to account what is going on here. So this is the structure that is responsible for proper corporate governance. And then is the structure that is holding shares and accounts to the shareholders, to the investors, and also tell the bank where the money is. And then also they make sure they oversee all these subsidiaries, and all these guys, they account to this structure here. So they also sit here and they tell the board here what is going on in all these subsidiaries. Okay, that is the proposed structure. So now I'll just quickly summarize, as you see, all these structures. Here is the IT. Our IT guys out there. Let me clear my board first. Okay, let me clean up. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Our IT is up and running. We are busy now, so I'll just tick those that are up and running. This one is up and running. We've developed the software. We've developed a doctor find and patient find app. And then we have negotiated a reseller contract with Vox. Everything is up and running. We're busy now trying to align it, because now it must be registered as a separate entity, and then it's going to be a subsidiary now of this one. That's what we're busy with. But the work has been done here. And then this boy here, company has been registered. We're just aligning now. As soon as we have registered this boy here, and then all the legal documents have been done, this one will be aligned, and then it's a subsidiary of the holding company. The cooperative is a major shareholder here. Okay, there's some money that some other doctors put in, not from the cooperative, from their own pockets, and then but they are also members of the cooperative. They also put in money here, and then also the same thing has happened on IT. Okay, so FSP is up and running. We're just waiting for the codes to be out, but this entity already is trading. And then the first aid training academy or first aid training college is up and running. We're aligning. So this one is the license is going to come under Promedical, but we want to separate it so that it becomes a separate entity, just like this one. And this one will be a separate entity, and then they are all subsidiaries of Promedical. Signage business, guys, this is the most expensive thing that you can think of. So I decided that instead of paying a third party to do our signs in our hospitals or any facility that we are running, we're not going to pay those people. We'd rather have a subsidiary, which is going to be also aligned, and then it's going to be sitting there. And then there's a security company, property development. These ones, the college has been set up. It's just a question of aligning. Okay. And then property development, we have identified some land, busy with compliance. The biggest problem with all these things, guys, and then once we're done, it's going to come here. The biggest thing with all these things that I've mentioned, all these things here, the biggest problem is compliance. These things are regulated, except for this one. This one is not regulated. But all these other ones, they are highly regulated. You cannot just wake up in the morning, start the business without complying. And these documents take a very long time, running around up and down in many offices. Okay. And then the pharmaceutical wholesale is in the pipeline. We are doing a research, and we already know where to go, how to do it. And then guys, research and clinical trials. These are the things that we know and know very well. And we don't have to buy land or what. This is just a easy money that we can make. And then the only thing that we need to do, we need just to organize ourselves. I must say that when it comes to research, it's a very embarrassing. I mean, I got really embarrassed when we saw politicians talking during COVID. Politicians were actually leading something that was supposed to be led by doctors. But the problem is that doctors didn't have information, because doctors didn't have data. So they didn't have sources of information, and they couldn't talk because politicians were pulling shelf documents left, right, and center from everywhere in the country, and then just talking. And they had to speak probably speak more than the doctors, and in fact, doctors were quiet, to be honest. And then to me, it was embarrassing. I don't know about you guys, but we need to start, preparing ourselves, organizing our house to have a proper research unit within Promedical. And there's quite a lot of financial spin-offs as well. If you have data, because everybody's looking for data. And clinical trials, I've spoken to a number of companies, pharmaceutical companies, and then they want to give us business, but it's just for us to be ready. I will talk about these things. I put them on red because at the moment, really, there's nothing that we've done. We've just looked at them and we saw that they are easy to do. Guys, I'm sure by now you're asking yourselves, but what is the short term? What is the executable things that we can go for right now? There is a, let me see, let me go. Okay. One thing that, there are two things that we can do and do immediately. There is a hospital at Karibo. I don't know why I didn't put it on the slides here. Okay, anyway, probably I should have actually accommodated it here. Okay. Let me. Okay, guys. In terms of the way forward, we have. Okay, what is going on? All right, sorry, guys. In terms of the way forward, we have two projects. We have got Karibo, and then we have got Lesego Private Hospital. Karibo is a day hospital. It's in Pinoni, Howard Street. Okay, what is going on now? Okay, right. So Karibo is in Howard Street, Benoni. It has got about 3 theaters, no, 2 theaters and 15 recovery beds. Okay, that's Karibo. Yeah? What's going on? Come on. Don't disappoint me now. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, but anyway, let me just talk. I don't want to this. Okay. So we've got the Karibo. All right. That's Karibo. Okay. The Karibo is in Pinoni, guys. All right. And then this is this hospital is a day hospital. All right. It's in Pinoni. Okay. It's not easy to write this thing. Okay. It's in Pinoni. Okay. And then 15 beds. Now, what is happening there is that we could have opened this hospital last year, or I think around November, December. But the problem is there was no electricity because for some reason or the other, because of poor cash flow over a long period of time, they had to close shop, I think, around June. And then with the debt, electricity debt of about 260,000. So we've been trying to negotiate with the municipality to let us work, and then we'll be able to pay that, and then the talks are on, but I think finally we are going to open probably next week after next. I'm not quite sure, but we have already sorted out the problem. Okay, so, and then we're going to have a casualty as well on this one on Pinoni. That is going to run 24/7. Okay, then Lesego Private Hospital is in Mahwasi, 15 minutes away from Sun City. I'm going there tomorrow to go, and that is on Sunday. So Sunday is the 30th. The hospital is opening on the 31st, so I'm going there to have a look. If everything is ready, all the equipment is there, and then we're going to start. Promedical has been invited again there take shares. So I will be talking to those people about the shares, how many shares are they going to give us, and how much are those shares going to cost us. So then we also have, I'm sorry I didn't put these things on the slide, but just take note that we have Benoni, which is a day hospital. Then we've got Lisiho, and these are the things that we are going to start operating immediately. Lisiho, we've been invited to take shares there, and we've also been invited to actually provide the professionals in that hospital. So basically all the health professionals and Promedical will have to look after that hospital. If those people who feel it's too far, it's not a problem, we'll recruit people that side to join Promedical, and then they will be part of Promedical in Rustenburg. I'm not in Mohwasi. Okay, so that's not a problem. The good thing is that, guys, we've got our own emergency medical services vehicles. We've got our own ambulances, 3 advanced ambulances. They are running. We've sent a lot of claims to Road Accident Fund now, waiting for payments. So yeah, really the future looks bright. So we don't see a problem with patients, moving patients around, because that's what we need. The hospital needs patients, the doctors need patients, the physios, all the allied, they need patients for us to be happy. So we have all those things. So emergency medical services up and running, so we'll be able to feed our hospitals. And then the other things, guys, we'll talk a lot about, you know, in our meeting when we were giving business reports. We're still working on documents now, legal documents to restructure, put subsidiaries, like I've mentioned, our IT academies. We've got Security Academy, we've got our First Aid Academy, and so forth. Guys, lastly, our medical insurance is going to assist us quite a lot. So we are marketing it now around Mohwasi so that it can actually support the private hospital that side. And we're also marketing it around Benoni. Unfortunately, the companies, they didn't have money. They didn't have money to get, because they don't have money. Not that they don't have money because of COVID. COVID has killed many businesses. So it was not easy to actually get this Promedical medical insurance, although the companies want it, but most of them, they cannot afford it. But I found a way of going around the problem. We are now in talks with the bargaining councils. There is a way out of this. So yeah, I think very soon I'll be having good news for you. But I guess that will happen when I give a business report. At some point, someone said to me, don't I think that the things, in fact, I think it was one of the ladies in our group, and she said, you know, after listening, okay, I don't know what I'm doing now. After listening to one of my videos that I posted, and initially she thought that, wow, it was a very good initiative, and she was pumped up. But after listening further, and then she realized that we were talking about so many things, and she wondered how we're going to handle these things. There are too many. We're mentioning saturate, we're mentioning college, we're mentioning import, export, we're mentioning health insurance. You know, she was really confused as to how is the whole thing gonna work. And then I said to her, well, of course, it's quite a lot of things that we're doing, but we are also many in the cooperative, and besides being many, and if you look at great companies, you can look at Bidvest. Bidvest has got almost, I don't know, probably about 30 subsidiaries. You understand? So if you go to if you catch a plane, for instance, immediately catch a plane, when you are given a newspaper, whatever, a magazine is Bidvest. When you go to the toilet, or maybe you wipe your backside and then it's Bidvest. When you climb off the plane, you go to a shop, it's everywhere Bidvest is there. Why? It's because they are a corporate. That's how corporates work. So we see ourselves as a future corporate that is going to take other corporate structures head on. The idea of thinking small all the time, guys, it doesn't last. You'll always find yourself in problems. The main thing is to always go big, start small, go big, and capture the industry. Come on a big bang, go in there, take your market share, and move on. So I understand the concern from my sister. It was genuine concern. She's not used to things like that. Of course, professionals are not necessarily used to things like that, because that's not how we're trained. We're not trained. We're trained to wake up, go to a practice, and then see patients, knock off and go home. Sit down on the sofa, they give you a nice coffee or whatever, watch TV but in business, no. In business, we grow, we dominate. So this is what we're trying to do now, to actually dominate and take other people out of the market, whenever possible. Okay. So yeah, guys, I think I've said a lot. I've said too much. Okay, Rebecca. Yeah. So, and then this slide has become so long now. I mean, this video has become too long. I'm sorry about that. It was not the intention, but I think I've covered ground, guys. The idea was just to try, by all means, to put you on the same page with us as we work in the office. Shouldn't say why these guys are so quiet, what is going on. Yeah. Okay, I think I will end this discussion right here. And then anyone who has got any idea, guys, please post questions, concerns, comments, anything, post on the wall, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm going to end this meeting. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.